Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are in the Alabeo Mooney aircraft and we are going to demonstrate some ways to navigate without the GPS as such. We're gonna give you first an good inside full view of how to fly, how real world pilots start flying with basic VOR to VOR as well as NDB. Because if you can master the VOR to VOR and the NDB, you are actually and you can say that you actually got the basic of flying, because that is the basic. That we can use the GPS and all that stuff just makes it more easy for us and adds more waypoints, as you can say, and you do not rely on the equipment on the ground, but it is equipment on the ground that it all came from, and that's why it's important to understand how it is. And you can say, if you do not have all the latest nav data in the world and all that kind of stuff, VOR station to VORs and VOR stations, they are in general there for a very long time. So nearly no matter which chart you have or what you got available, it would be there, and that's also why it is nice always to use VOR, because VOR then even its outdated data, there would be no problem as such to fly to it. And you can go to SkyVector and don't care about the latest nav 8 that is available for en route charts and all that stuff, because you can fly VOR to VOR, and you can plan it from SkyVector. Just look at it here. You can fly from Lanzarote to Fuerteventura. That is actually what we have planned, and then it would actually show it here. And then we can go in and say that we are. The main plan here is just to make a short flight here from Lanzarote to Fuerteventura, and we are doing it this way. We are departing from runway 03 here at Lanzarote, straight out. Then we would return to the VOR station, past the VOR station, and then we would get to Fuerteventura. So basically what we could do is that, to make it easy, we could go out and say we do a straight out departure here. Straight out departure. It's just a GPS fixed point, so don't expect that to be the main point we are going to fly to. And then we want to pass the Lanzarote VOR station. That can be set there. And then we would be flying straight to Fuerteventura VOR station, and then fly out and somehow get to the NDB station in order for us to land. And now I can see the lines here is a bit messy. We actually get 3 lines here. Like the flight plan is not as we wanted to. because this should actually be not sure how they actually do this. Because we should not fly this. There we go. Now we got it corrected. So we are departing runway 03, flying straight out or similar. Try to return to the Lanzarote VOR station, then pass on from the Lanzarote VOR station over to Fuerteventura, and then we would fly back, sorry, not back, but fly towards the NDB station. Then you could actually, if you had the chart, I do not have it, so we are just gonna simulate an approach, an NDB approach. And already now you can see that if you just can do this, you can do a safe flight, because you can get from A to B, but the most important thing is actually the situational awareness when flying this way. Then we can open the log that you get. That can tell us some things about the flight. Now I did not mess with the altitudes. That can be set to the correct altitude, and you would get the headings. And from Lanzarote VOR to Fuerteventura VOR station, we would actually be on the magnetic heading of 204. That's gonna be our main track. As you can see, it's gonna be our track, 204 degrees. So the main track between those two lines would be so that we should enter it at around 204 degrees. And then we would turn towards the NDB station from there, and you got all the frequencies that you would need, but X-Plane has the ability to actually tune those frequencies for you. So if you don't want to fine tune all that stuff, let me demonstrate for you here. I can just open my map, and of course it requires that I'm close enough. Then I can just go in and say I want to tune either the nav 1, the nav 2. See it updated both nav 1 and nav 2. Just switch to nav 1. Right now we're just concentrating on using nav 1. If you get more used to it, you can actually switch between nav 1 and nav 2 and have that option to actually track nav 1 or nav 2. So that's it. But again, to keep it simple. So now we actually have tuned in Fuerteventura, but we actually should be over here. So we would set the frequency. You can see we've got the Lanzarote LTE, or the Lanzarote VOR tag TLZ, and we was using the LTE, so it would be this VOR station that we actually should be tuning in on. In order to fly as we need to. Another way you can do this is actually, if you are using the GPS, you could always go in and watch out for the nearest. You got the nearest intersection, you got the nearest NDB station, and there you actually have the frequency right by your hand if you like, and it's also showing the main distance. You can actually see it's that's all that tour that's actually set up already, and that way you actually have the frequency and can tune it in, and it gives you the bearing to the main station. So now you can see it says 205 degrees and the bearing of 205, so it's not that far from what we was saying before, that the bearing would be around 204. The main track would be towards the Fuerteventura, because right now we are not entirely at the VOR station as we should, as well as this is for the NDB. If we switch through here, we got the Fuerteventura as well on a bearing of 207. So in a moment you can just let it be here, and you could actually track those values so you don't have the visual map of it. But of course it would be nice to switch off the GPS, because then you would see if you are actually have your situational awareness of where you are supposed to going, because the most challenging part is when you are in flight, because when we are in flight and flying towards a given waypoint, and the aircraft is not locked on the main target nav, because you might be out of the main track, and the aircraft don't know how to get back to that track. Then it's very important that you understand your instrument and know where you actually is to get back onto that track. Right now, one indication I got right now is that I can see that the station is in front of me. I have not passed the main station. You would see when we depart, it would actually move the small white arrow downwards, indicating that now I have passed it and the waypoint is behind me. But that doesn't help you if you are far off your track. That's where you actually have to know your instruments. But let's get the aircraft airborne. I have not prepared that much here, and I'm limited as I don't have hardware for the mixture and prop and all that. I really like that, as that makes it more realistic and gives a better impression of engine management and such. But I do not, so bear with me that I am limited, and that's why I say some people just don't care or do not have the funds to invest in all kind of stuff, and that's pretty fine. And now you can see we have passed the station, as I was explaining, and now I am opening my own new autopilot project here just to make it a bit easier for me to talk about the flight as well, so that I can concentrate more on talking and demonstrate it for you, so I don't have to think too much about flying the main aircraft. So now we're just climbing out, and as you can see, we actually get a bearing from our current position towards the Lanzarote ground station. Now, as you see, I'm moving, and then it's again showing me that it is behind me. I can set it for 206, and you would see that it actually keeps adjusting, and that's due to the bearing, of course, because look at it, like this compass here. My reference point is here, and that is the bearing. So now the more I turn to the left or such, the main track would of course give some different angles, and that's also because if I turned out here, as you can see on the compass, this is 0 degrees, so to get back, of course it matters if I'm here, here or here. The track back to the R station would be different, because this is my main reference point, and this is where I actually am going to fly out. And the same is when you start turning it when we are flying towards the main station. So now I can try to get us out of course here. There we go. Just gonna turn the aircraft, and then I can go in and say, well, I need to get back to the airport now. But do note that I can set it to whatever I like here. So now let's switch on the nav, and then I would be required to find a way back. As you could see, the course is set far lower than the main bearing. So as I turn and do my turn here, hopefully the aircraft, you can see I get closer and closer and closer. But the main problem is that if you are too far away, the aircraft might struggle to give you indications of where you need to be to get onto that main track that you actually have set up, because the aircraft only got the need to try to indicate where you are. And another thing to note here, if we was to intersect the main course, you can see now the aircraft actually has a very hard time to get back on track, and it would not stabilize itself before we actually pass the point. So now I try to adjust it here so the aircraft actually can try to get onto a nice bearing. Else the aircraft, because we are so close, it just keeps turning left, right, and it would get more and more sensitive as we get closer to the main signal. So right now we are flying okay. I can go back a bit here, get the RPM down, and set the RPM for a more dynamic cruise here. And now we actually have to switch some of the stuff on that I forgot when we departed. I apologize. That's because I have so much to say, and that's why I set this up. Okay, and now let's synchronize our main heading here as we are getting closer to the station. So I am gonna press the heading knob, and then I'm gonna switch over to the new course here for the Fuerteventura station, and then I would switch over to Fuerteventura and tune it in. Of course, you could do that manually if you like. Then you could switch over, and what I could have done here was actually I could have selected this one and tuned for the nav 2, because then I actually would still have a traction of it if it wasn't, because I actually got the GPS open to say it. Okay. And now you can see the bearing keeps adjusting as we actually are turning. And now you can see Fuerteventura is on a bearing of 270, and that's basically because we are not 100% aligned. However, if we look here on our new map, we can see we are nicely on our track here that we have set up, because what we actually have set is that we would pass, and I see now that it is not set correctly, and that's why. There we go, 204. And it wasn't set correctly, and that was due to me making a mistake. Not that it is critical, because no matter what, I would get to Fuerteventura, but I would intercept the UR station at another angle than what actually was expected from our position from Lanzarote UR station, because that would have made us come in from not a straight line from Lanzarote. As you can see, it actually offset us a bit from a direct line between those waypoints. And I got my small hint here, because now we're down to 205. Should be around 204, 205. So for this particular circumstance, it's not a huge deal, because it's not a problem as such for us. It really isn't, because we are still fully able to fly. Without any problems of any kind. It would just have given us a set another interception heading, and that didn't be a problem as such. Of course, with a controller in such scenario as we were in here, if we haven't registered ourselves, they might ask us if we actually they're sure that we are the main thread that we is expected to be. Then we might have found the error ourselves. I see we have a huge imbalance of the fuel. That was odd because I actually have reset the aircraft when we started out. I really see it right now. Okay, and now we actually come up towards Simple VOR here. We can then switch over here and do our manual input here, you can say. We load up the traction here. Yeah, you can set it. It is already set, as you can see. So we're just waiting for the main needle to actually get alive, and that's only happening when we actually get closer to Simple VOR, because the NDB has a lower range than the VR station. But it is actually nice to do this, and you can say in a small aircraft like this, it is easier to make those adjustments from VR to VR, because one of the most important things is always to set the heading bar when you want to try to change your current navigate, so you don't confuse the autopilot that it just tries to capture, and that can give some odd behavior, like the autopilot can't really find out of what you actually wanted to do. So we are around 12 nautical miles from the destination, and we can try to start descent here. Try to set it up here so that the aircraft gets down to the 2,000 feet here. Here we go. Update the level QH. And I do that by the project I have made, or the script I should say, for setting the QH according to the information that the situation has at the moment. Okay, and as you can see, we started out and then turned to the left, flying straight back towards the station, then we made a wrong course, and then we actually corrected it and got onto a more correct course, which will let you navigate, even though it looks a bit odd, but it's because right now we are a bit off the main line, and you would be that more or less. So to get the most straight line, you need to set the you need to get it timed correctly so the aircraft can turn at the right time and get onto a correct track, and that would make it the most straight line that you can get. Because here it wasn't that much, and then we corrected it, and then it got back on the main track. Because if I draw a direct line, you can see we have been flying a bit to one side and a bit to the other side. So. But again, it should get you to your destination as you would expect. And right now the nav 2 was set for the rudder, and you can see that from is shown and to when the needle is up here. So we are flying from and not to. Down here we are flying to and not from. Like for the other compass, it's just here, it's working in another way, but then you can see if we turn it, we're flying to, if it was flying according to, as you can see, it's the opposite direction. It's just that the instrument works in another way. Okay, and we are around 2 nautical miles away from the station here, and it looks nice now. So now we just gonna follow it there, and then we would be flying towards it. We could have a little tracking here. Between those we should be 182, 182. So we could actually go, let's say 182. We'll like 182, and I could switch over now, and it should actually take us directly. You can also see the needle gets more active now. And then we could actually start doing our procedure if that's what we desire to do for the NDB, and that's actually what we're going to do. So now we can start. Now we should get to the NDB station, and then we should start the timer, and then we could do our main flight here. What we can do here is that we could actually get ourselves ready for our main approach here. can see now that we are a bit off the NDB station, so we could actually switch off the autopilot and take manual control here, and then get ourselves ready for our main landing. So now we have passed the NDB station, and then you would fly according to the chart. Since we are at 2,000 feet, it normally would be something like doing half and hold or such. Fly 2 minutes out and then maybe turn back in. So right now I'm flying and do not have any reference other than the NDB needle behind us. So let's just improvise here and just get back on the main track here for our approach. And the nice thing about this rim needle is actually it points towards, it gives you the direction towards the NDB station, where some other rim needles might be quite tricky to fully understand. And now I can just fly directly according to the rim needle here, and I would actually get to the NDB station more or less. And then if I had it set up, I can stop it here and say that our track from here and into Fuerteventura airport would be around a track of 2 degrees. So I could actually switch over here and say it should be around 2 degrees. And then I actually have a reference for the track in for landing. I don't have the reference for the glide path, but I got an indication for where the main track to the runway is. So as you can see, right now we are doing a mix of being professional and just flying without getting too much into details about doing everything correctly. Now we're getting close to the NDB. As you can see, the needle starts to move to the right, and in a moment it would just point. There we go, passing the NDB, more or less. And then you also see that the track to the runway actually becomes active now for the track. Even though it is a bit out of sync, but it would get us nicely down towards the runway, as you can see. Because even though I go a bit further out, just no problem. And if I turn towards it, you can see. I hope you can see now what is going on here with the needle, how it indicates my position compared to where the main position of our aircraft should be. Okay, so now we are aligned here, ready for our landing. Because do note that this procedure is a mix, as you can see, and of course it is not a procedure that you may do in low visibility, because it is not precise enough to do so, as you can see. Now we passed it, the VOR station, as it was the little tower you could see a little minute ago. And now we're just gonna get the aircraft slowed down here, so it actually can get it settled here on the runway. And there we have it. A fully flight that was safe to do here from Lanzarote to Fuerteventura, even though we had a bit of a quirkiness here and there. But it is all about practice, practice, practice. The more you do it, the better it goes. And as you can see from our main track here, we departed Lanzarote, turned slightly on the way out, made a nice turn back into to track the Lanzarote VOR. Started out with a wrong course towards Fuerteventura. Actually, it looks more straight, but it shouldn't be so. It should be a mix between the two lines in order to make it entirely straight. But again, we achieved what we had set us up for, that we could get from Lanzarote to Fuerteventura without using the GPS or other navigational equipment. And then we actually came past the Fuerteventura VOR station. We did not achieve to cross the NDB station as we expected to, as it should have been more straight. However, you can see that we made a nice turn, and then we actually nearly passed the NDB station, and then followed a traction towards the to the Fuerteventura VOR station, and then passed it and landed on the runway. So, as you can see, we achieved what was set up for us, and it's a nice practice for anyone. So, thank you for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.